Hello everybody, myself Rahil Padiani and we will be looking at file system interface for Windows and x86 today. So Windows uses new technology file system, that is NTFS, and x86 uses Unix-like file system. So key feature differences that in NTFS and x86 are, first one being encryption. Windows provides us an option to encrypt our files using EFS. Another one is that Windows provides us multiple file opening modes, one of them being the append mode. x86 does not provide us append mode, it only gives us read-write modes. For compression also, Windows provides us this LZNT compression, whereas x86 does not have any such feature. Now we will be further taking these two features and explaining them in detail and trying to implement them in x86, that is encryption and append mode. So for append mode, if we check x86 in this fcntl.h file, we will find out 4 flags are there, and that is read only, write only, read write and create. And with these 4 flags there are multiple file modes that can be created with their combinations, but since there is no append flag, it does not have any append mode. But if we check for Windows, there are many flags, way more than 4, and those can be combined to give us many different modes. But we will be specifically looking at append mode today. For encryption, let us first see what is the motivation behind encryption. We might think that since our systems are password protected, so our files should also be safe, but that is not the case. Our authentications are operating system based, but so if somebody just uses a flash drive to boot, or maybe they take our hard drive and put it into another system, then our files would be out in the open. So encryption would keep them safe against all these kind of things. So if our file system is encrypted, then nobody can access it without our password. And this is a feature that Windows gives us, but x86 doesn't. Now looking at the implementation of append mode. So to implement append mode, what we need to do is we need to add one more flag here, that is the append flag, and its value should be very carefully chosen. And as we can see here, all the previously defined flags, they have only one of the bit set inside them. So, and that is because they are used in combination with each other by doing a bitwise OR. So we will also have to choose a value that has only one of the bits set, and its bitwise AND with all of the other defined flags should be 0, so that they do not interfere with each other. Now we will look at this struct file, and here we will find this parameter called offset, and this offset is the generally initialized to 0, because that is where we generally start reading our file or writing into file. But since now we will be implementing append mode, this should not be carelessly initialized to 0, rather we will have to check the mode and then initialize this, and that can be seen inside this sys open system call. Here as we see that in the x86 code, it is directly initialized to 0, but what we can do is that we should use this if else statement, and we should first check that if the append mode is there, then we should initialize it with ip.size, and this ip is the inode pointer of the current file. So it will give us the size of the file, and hence it will behave like our cursor is at the end of the file. Now looking at this sh.c file, here we are checking for different kind of IO redirection operators, and one of them is this double arrow operator. And whenever we are using this, it implies that we want to append something inside a file, but since there was no append mode in x86, it was just simply behaving equivalent to this single redirection flag. So now since we have implemented append mode, we should also set that append flag here, and that is all we need to do to implement this append mode in x86. So if we do not have implemented append mode, then we can see that if we are doing reading a file and say its contents are hello, and now we want to write this hi and append it to a, but since append mode is not there, it will just overwrite this he and carriage return, so it will overwrite it instead of getting appended. But if we have correctly implemented the append mode, then it will simply get written in the next line after hello. Now let us look at encryption. This is not something like append mode, because here we have to implement everything from scratch. So firstly we will be needing two system calls, that is encrypt and decrypt. For this we will need to change some standard files. That is a standard procedure to implement a system call in x86. So we will need to add a system call number inside this syscall.h file. We will need to declare a prototype in user.h file. We will need to add our system calls inside the function pointer array in syscall.c file. We will also need to declare them in uses.s file. And finally, coming into its actual implementation, it will be done inside the sysfile.c. Now coming to some important design decisions in the encryption. So first decision that we need to take is what is the algorithm we need to choose. And here I chose AES algorithm because of multiple reasons. First one being it is very secure. It is another is that it is symmetric, and hence it is very fast in comparison to any asymmetric key algorithm. A symmetric key algorithm is the one that uses the same key for encryption and decryption. So here for AES we have three different key sizes available to us, that is 128, 192 and 256 bits, and 256 bits being the strongest one. But even if we are using 128 bit key, it will still be very secure, and it will be so secure that even the fastest computers present today will take billions of years to crack such a key. And another important aspect is that it is very widely used, and hence it has been thoroughly tested. So I think we can trust AES algorithm for this. Another important design decision is that we need to choose a 128 bit key for encryption, and this key can be chosen in multiple ways, and two of the prominent ways that I can think of are, first one is that we can use MD5 hash of user password. MD5 hash returns 128 bits exactly, so we can directly use it. And another one is that we can use some stronger algorithm for hashing, that is like SHA-256. It will return 256 bits, but we need only 128, so we can discard the rest 128 bits. Now the problem with MD5 hash is that it is vulnerable to certain types of collision attacks. But since here we won't be saving any MD5 hash value, so I don't think that this attack will be any viable attack, but MD5 will also be very secure here. So, and the issue with SHA-256 would be that despite it being very strong hashing algorithm, now here we are discarding half of the length of it, so it makes it significantly weaker, and hence this is the dilemma that I faced. So after going through some NIST recommendations, I am convinced that despite SHA-256 taking 128 bits from it being weaker than SHA-256, it will still be stronger than MD5. So that is what we will be taking here. Now looking at the implementation part, here we will implement this encrypt system call, and it will need two arguments, that is the file name and password. Now once we have the password, we will encrypt, we will hash it with SHA-256, and it will return us 256 bits, and we will take the first 128 out of it, and then that will act as a key for encryption. Now we will AES encrypt that with this key. Now looking at the pseudo code of it, we can see that we can generate this key by taking this password, taking its SHA-256 hash, and then taking first half of it. And now we read the file and put it inside our buffer, and then we would call AES encrypt to encrypt our value in the buffer with the key that we calculated, and now we will write it back inside the file. And decrypt will work very similar to that, and here just being that we will use AES decrypt instead of AES encrypt. So that is all from my side. Thank you very much.